Brother, what's going on, my boy? I hope you're doing well today. I am enjoying my morning so far with this nice black cup of coffee. Hope you're sipping on something or just enjoying your moment with me. So, today, we live in a world where there's this thing called hooking up. And, you and I are very similar in many, many, many ways. I actually kind of know you pretty well. So you're a stoic man, a man of divine order, as one would say. You don't necessarily think it's hooking up is necessarily bad, but for yourself, it's just not conducive to the person you're trying to be. But you're just constantly surrounded by the hookup culture and the allure of the next best pussy. It's a relentless, it's all the time. You need to get with this girl, you need to get with that girl, you need to be part of the game, you need to do this and that. It's like, really? Nah, I don't think I do. But, it's hard to say no when your entire external reality in today's day and age is pretty much centered around lust. Man, I regret some of it. More so recently than back then. Because, it's fun to have these one night stands. Feel good about yourself because, you're an attractive guy or you're not an attractive guy. It doesn't really matter, but you get with this beautiful girl and you guys have a good time and it's pleasurable and it's like, man, I'm doing what the mainstream idea says you need to do. But then you wake up. It's even worse because you wake up after having like a really shit night of sleep because the other person's in the bed with you. And it's just like weird and awkward because you just like want your own space and you want to curl up into your own blanket, but there's a person that you have to share the blanket with and share the bed with. And you don't even know who this person is. And your gut just is like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? Like, why? You literally don't want to do this. But then like this little part of you switches and then you do it and then you wake up and you're just, fuck, man. Why? Why? And then you meet somebody. This most perfect, God-fearing woman who reminds you of your values and your morals, your ethics, your stoic nature for self-preservation. To be with a woman who is going to boost you up, who's going to lift you up, who sees you as the man you want to be. And everything changes in such a short amount of time. Because this woman is actually the ideal woman you want to be with. Not some fantasy that society sculpts for you, but you and your own vision for yourself. And you just fall head over heels. That's exactly the situation that I'm in right now. It's so, I think the hard thing for you and I is the fact that we're so centered on building our empires. We're so centered on building something sustainable for our families, for our parents. We wanted to retire our dad last year, but he said no. Which I amen. I get it. Boy likes to work. He's just a working man. But we are building things. And things, life goes on and you don't really see this woman in your life. So then the next thing is, I want intimacy. I want to feel a connection with a beautiful female. So you find yourself falling into that temptation. And I don't say it to make you feel guilty. It's not at all. And I honestly don't, it's not necessarily wrong, hooking up. It can be, is if you're doing it like all the time and from a place of, desperation or neediness to feel seen by a woman, that's wrong. And other people are polyamorous and that's their thing and that's okay. But for me and you, that's just not the way we swing. That's not our preference. But you're so focused on building this empire that you relax a little too much and you find yourself getting into these one night stands every now and then. Nothing crazy. We're not sluts. We're still godly men who make some mistakes. But I want to remind you, because this epiphany that I had from this woman who's, I have the biggest crush on her. Like, everything you're building is for her. And do not take that statement at face value, because I'm not saying you're committing your life to this woman out of, I'm giving you everything. No, she's going to run away if you do that. But you see this vision for your family, this nuclear family for yourself. So you're building this empire, you're building your financial stability to be able to support her, your kids, your family in the future. Don't lose sight of that. Do not lose sight of the fact that you're going to be with the woman of your dreams. Do not let the societal standards make you feel like you're missing out, because it is constructed. The American society, well, I can't even say the American society, because, my content is more about the spiritual aspect of societies or civilization or mankind, as you can say. And there's the carnal mind, which is the ego, the left side, the left hemisphere of your mind, the logic and reason. And the logic and reason is the lower hemisphere of thinking, just wanting to procreate and fuck everything that you can and conquer everything and all that volatile behavior. That's where the right side is. That's the creative side. That's the right hand of God, where you find yourself in this unity with your desires and your goals and your aspirations, where you can feel that the literal hand of God is moving you in ways that bring you to your desired end quicker, with less stress and chaos, but with order. Focus yourself on that right side. And what this looks like is you not allowing your imagination to go into lust, going into the narrative that having sex with anyone and everybody is the right thing, or it's the cool thing. Because it's not for you and I. Again, for some people, that honestly may be the way that God presents them to live their life. And they're not bad people, because the way they set those relationships up is set in communication, in a deep understanding that, hey, I'm polyamorous, this is how I live my life, this is where I feel most content and fulfilled. Those are the people that I'm referring to. They're cool, they're normal, they're healthy individuals. But for you and I, that's just not the life that we want for ourselves. So what that looks like, as I was saying, is you're centering your imagination into a unified relationship with a beautiful woman. Because whether you want to accept this as truth or not, it doesn't matter, because you will continue to live your life through these mechanics, or regardless if you want to or not. But your imagination is the center, the foundation to your existence, to your experiences. You can prove this by auditing your thoughts, your feelings, and you could say assumptions, but I like to replace that with more the imaginal acts that you think about on a regular basis, on a moment-to-moment basis. So if you're thinking about lust on a regular basis, you're going to find yourself you're going to have a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're going to become lustful. Or if look at your business, you're a successful guy, you're daydreaming about the money, you're daydreaming about the success, the status, the reputation, and you see yourself being respected by people in your community. That's not by sheer coincidence, my man. That's by the mechanism in which God bestowed upon us. So the more you accept this as the nature of your existence, the easier managing lust becomes, and the easier it is you're going to find yourself in that relationship that you want to be in. You do that by auditing yourself. So you can journal if you want, you don't have to. And there's nothing you ever need to do. So don't ever get caught up in the idea of needing to do things. Just a side note. But like for me, like the more I find awareness around my internal landscape, the more I pick up on these thoughts of self-limiting beliefs or self-affirming negative prophecies about not being sociable enough or successful enough or whatever the case might be. And in those moments, brother, relax. Those are not true. You're just identifying with these thoughts as truth when you are, as in you, me, a multi-dimensional being, and you're going to experience all forms of existence, but it is up to you to determine which side of existence you want to be on. And for me, that's that nuclear family, the empire, the money, the swag, the respect, the fearless nature, knowing that God is my protector and my provider. God also being man and woman. That's another conversation. I mean, like, man, like how else are you in the situation that you're in? There's nothing, you're not necessarily doing anything different than anyone else, but you're finding success, and the actions you're taking aren't very grand. They're not anything spectacular, but your mindset, on the other hand, is fucking gold. You have the mindset of Zeus, of Christ, of all of these amazing individuals that you look up to. Like, your mindset is everything. If you don't have the right mindset, then you're not going to ever be in the situation that you want to be in. So, and you understand this to a degree. I think you being here, it's almost like a self-affirming gesture of God. Like, hey, you've heard this before, but you really need to accept it, because you experienced the evidence for this to be true, but you're kind of like dancing on the sideline, just not sure. But like, you're here for a reason. It's up to you to take this as truth or not, and that's okay. But I encourage you to lean into this gesture that you've been getting from God for, could be a couple months, could be a couple years. For me, it's been 5-6 years of this, and now I'm really coming into my godhood, you could say, and it feels very, very peaceful and powerful, because I know that what's going on in here is going to be projected out here in this physical world that I'm experiencing. And I've had a lot of epiphanies lately. One, going back to the hookup, because I kind of had like this period of like, okay, let's just see what happens with the hookup culture. And I struggled with speaking to girls for quite some time, and I was sick and tired of it, and I wanted to grow out of that shell. And the imaginal acts was always, or became centered in being a successful cold approacher, so to speak, or being able to get the girl. And for a long time, things weren't progressing, but then all of a sudden, just, okay, this is easier than I thought it was, and it's not really that difficult to have good relationships with girls. So I started witnessing my own prophecies of these imaginal acts that I had created in my mind months prior. Same thing with business, dude. It's literally the same thing for any category in your life. It's the same thing. But on the topic of hookup culture and staying true to your values and your desires to be a godly man, to be with a godly woman, to build this nuclear family, like, trust, man. You gotta trust. If I see myself fulfilling my own prophecy, why would I doubt my ability to build that family that I want? It's so dumb. It's actually so stupid. Because on one side, okay, I see that, okay, these things that I've wanted for myself are not coming true. But then I'm going to turn over to this nuclear family idea and reject it. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So now my point is, like, I have full faith that whether it's this woman or not, it doesn't matter. I hope it is, because she is an amazing human being. And she said something to me that has been on my mind every single day, but she made a term about heart posture. Like, knowing my character and my heart posture is centered in God, because we have differences in our religious beliefs. But the idea of heart posture is so beautiful. I love it so much, because it can really explain someone's character and the actions versus the words that one might speak. So, like, your heart posture if you keep your heart posture on in trust and faith in God that your nuclear family is coming and this woman is coming, you have no reason to fear. You have no reason to doubt, my man. Because you know that God never fails. And the thing about that statement, though, is, you know, you have a lot of lukewarm believers. The idea lukewarm is like the idea for lukewarm Christians, but Christians are not the only ones who believe in God, obviously. But there's a lot of lukewarm believers, whether you're Christian or Muslim or Hindu or whatever idea that you follow to. But those who know the law of Christ, or one can say the law of consciousness, the law of attraction, it's kind of all the same thing at the end of the day. One who knows the law will always prevail. Because at the end of the day, our outer experience is solely and totally determined by our inner existence, our inner reality. Like, how else? It makes no sense to think that life is purely by chance. Because on one end, someone will say, oh, this is just my luck, and then, oh, you can't manifest. But you just said, oh, it's your luck. So therefore, you're implying that there's some mechanism causing you to have this shit luck in your life. But then 2 seconds later, oh yeah, manifestation is just a bunch of bullshit. It's like, okay, now you're contradicting yourself by saying that. Because on one end, you say you believe it, but then you don't. So everyone believes it to a degree. They're not aware of their belief. You are. So if you are willing to, my phone is being blown up by my girl. Trust, brother. Trust. You need to trust that God has everything in store for you, because you and God are a team. And this is the other thing about people who, these lukewarm believers, they say they believe in God, but then they fail to see them as part of the equation. Like, God can only do magic and wonders, I guess you could say, if you are part of the equation. Like, you are made in the image of God. Do you really think that you don't possess the powers to create your existence the way you want to, or to do these miracles? Even though you hear about, you know, Joe Dispenza doing all this magical work, or Neville Goddard doing his magical work, or Novel Scoville, Shane, I always mess up her name, but any of these crazy characters that you hear about doing wild stuff, it's like, that doesn't happen if you're not part of the equation with God. So stop undermining your godhood. Stop undermining your spiritual gifts, your spiritual powers, because they're there for a reason. So with all that being said, don't fall for the lust, dude. It's not worth it. I will never do that again. Ever. It's empty. It's gross for me. It's kind of pathetic, to be honest, because, like, can I really not say no? Well, nah, this is where I get too hard on myself, because I'm not that bad. I really am not that bad. But it doesn't change the fact that it's just not meant for me. It's not meant for you. And you need to remember this law, the law of attraction, the law of consciousness, the law of Christ, the law of existence, so to speak. Have faith that God has the best plan for you, as long as you're willing to be part of that equation. So, you got this, man. And some guys think masturbation is simp behavior, and sure, it can be if you're doing it every fucking day. You get a grip, man. Seriously, you got some problems if you're fucking jerking off every single day. You got issues. But there's nothing wrong with self-pleasure. My rule of thumb is always trying to stay 7 days every time I self-pleasure. Keep my testosterone up, keep my lust in control. But I'd rather self-pleasure than give myself to a girl I don't know. And I'm also not going to strip myself of pleasure because of some red pill ideology that I don't even agree with. And if you want to make fun of me for that, by all means, go for it. I could give two shits. I really could care less. And I don't think you care. I'll also, if someone's going to make fun of you for that. But that is better than hooking up with a girl you don't know. And honestly, it's just kind of better anyways, because you know how to pleasure yourself. And anyways, another conversation. You got this, my man. I'm proud of you. I see you. I know you're building something spectacular, something amazing, something worthwhile, something godly, and you know you're just going through a little challenge right now. But please, man, I know these videos they don't do justice as us having a face-to-face conversation. Like, man, I'd love to be in front of you right now, speaking to your face, but this is the next best thing. If I could give you any words of encouragement that I have realized myself is like, yeah, these videos are not as good as being in person, but they still possess the same wisdom. If you and I are face to face, we don't know each other. That's okay. Maybe we will get to know each other one day. But the words that I'm speaking here are the same words you might find in person. So don't reject the things that we have talked about today just because it's on the internet. You know, I'm very much centered in making the internet a healthier place than it is right now. Or at least I at least decide I at least have the intentions to be on the side of the internet that actually uplifts humanity and gets you off the internet versus the side where it's just pure consumption and debauchery. You got this, my man. I hope you have a fantastic day. Don't forget to pray. Don't forget to commit yourself to God. Focus on your journey. Let the woman come, because she will come. Much love, my man.